Welcome back to Arsenal News TV, and today we're going to look at how Arsenal could line up versus Tottenham Hotspur, and we're going to go straight into the formation and what formation is Mikel going to go with in this pre-season friendly, in the final pre-season friendly before we kick off in the Premier League against Brentford. So in terms of the formation, I think Mikel is going to stick with that 4-2-3-1 formation. I think the main reason being that I think Mikel likes to have a working formation, and I think when it comes to this formation, I think we're very attacking, and I think that we are able to get a few goals, but at the same time we are able to concede a few goals as well. So I think this formation will be alright versus Tottenham. We will have to wait and see how Tottenham will line up under their new manager, Nuno Espirito Santo. But I think with both of them going probably likely with the back four, I think in terms of the goalkeeper, it's either Bernd Leno or no one else in my opinion, because when you look at our other choice goalkeepers, we have Ronald Alex Funderson, we have the likes of other goalkeepers which we don't even see. Arthur and Conco, for instance, we don't really see them as second choice goalkeepers, and Mikel still looks for a new second choice goalkeeper. We would link to the likes of Aaron Ramsdale, and also may hurry up in this transfer in my opinion, or they might sign another goalkeeper somewhere abroad, because I think when it comes to Aaron Ramsdale, I think we have a goalkeeper that will be able to play understudy to Bernd Leno, and he also fits the criteria that Mikel is looking for in the goalkeeper, with a homegrown goalkeeper. But with 5-6 days remaining until the season kicks off, I think it's really poor business if Arsenal don't get transfers over the line as soon as possible. We have had problems with the likes of Edu, that he's chilling in Spain, but when it comes to him being in Spain, it could mean that he could be looking for a player in Spain, and it could be a Spanish goalkeeper in my opinion. So in terms of the goalkeeper, I think we're going to go with Bernd Leno, and Bernd Leno for me is someone that has been shaky throughout last season, let's be honest. I think we're always going to go back to the Emiliano Martinez problem. I think Arsenal never sold that player because he was homegrown. He fit a lot of criteria, but he did want to leave, and also went with Bernd Leno. And Bernd Leno has been our number one choice goalkeeper. He has saved us before Emiliano Martinez even arrives, but recently he's looking very shaky in my opinion, and I don't think his mindset is right with the club, and I think he's looking for his uncertainty, and he doesn't know if he's going to remain or he's going to be sold as well. So in terms of the right back position, I think Mikel really has three good options. If you're going to say three good options, I think three average options in my opinion, in the form of Callum Chambers, Cedric Soares and Hector Bellerin, and it looks more and more likely that these three will be our right backs moving into the new season, because Callum Chambers, there were talks regarding the fact that he could be utilised in a swap deal for James Maddison, but that rumour still looks unlikely at the moment, but it could be happening behind the scenes. And when it comes to other right backs such as Cedric Soares, he was linked to the likes of Fenerbahce, but it doesn't look likely that he will be moving there, and he has been very active on his Twitter account stating that this will be the season where you will see the best of him. And then Hector Bellerin, someone that's been linked with Inter Milan, but there are reports stating that Inter Milan are looking at Denzel Dumfries as their number one choice right back, and Hector Bellerin comes at number 2. So there's a lot of things to watch out for in that right back position. For me, I want to see a new right back. I want to see either Max Aarons or even a Riddle Baku, because I think those two players are young, hungry players that want to fight for his Arsenal shirt, and they can really make a huge impact in my opinion. And I think these are the players that I'll rather see. But moving into this pre-season friendly, into the final pre-season friendly match, in that right back position, I think I'm going to see Callum Chambers. So Callum Chambers for me is someone that has looked decent. He's looked alright at certain moments. He's someone that is very versatile. That's one of the main reasons why he's playing in that position. But I even rather see the likes of Maitland-Niles. Even though Maitland-Niles wants to play in that centre mid position, I'd rather him move into that right back position. I think you should trust in your manager that he can get the best position out of you, and I think the right back position will be a good position for him to really excel in and become the starting right back. But it depends on the player's perspective, the way he views his football game, and the way Mikel views him as a player. So in terms of the right centre-back position, I think this is going to be a position which is pretty much sorted for the next 5-6 years. If the signing that we've done for £50 million turns out to be a sensational signing, and that is Ben White. And Ben White is a player that I do really like. I do think that he was very sensational in his first pre-season friendly versus Chelsea, the way he came on, the way he made a last-ditch tackle, he made a last goal-saving block. I think he was a really good player. I think you can see the quality with him when you compare it to the other players in that team. But I think Ben White for me is a decent right centre back. He's someone that I think could excel moving into the new season. But I think this is a good test to see him in an Arsenal in a very good pre-season friendly match in form of Tottenham and Arsenal North London derby. And even though it's a pre-season friendly, I think the fierceness is still there, the anger is still there, the fight is still there, as we saw in the game versus Chelsea. Their players are up for it, the managers are up for it, no one's taking these games lightly. So moving into that left centre-back position, I think we pretty much have one choice currently, because I think Mikel is going to go with Pablo Mari, because Gabriel Magalhaes is someone that looks likely to return quickly, I think, because due to him having a special medical elsewhere, and he looks much faster in his recovery, and he's someone that could even be in contention to start moving into the first game versus Brentford. But moving into the left centre-back position, I think we got Pablo Mari. I think we got a calm and composed player, but I'd rather see the likes of even maybe Gabriel Magalhaes maybe in the future moving into the new season. But currently, I do like Pablo Mari. I think he's a decent player, and I think that for me, I think he can make a difference. He can really make that position his, and he's the more experienced player. He's someone that's much older than Ben White, and I think these two calm and composed centre-backs could be useful for Mikel Arteta when playing out from the back. And when it comes to the Chelsea game, I think he was a more calm and composed player in the first half when it was him and Rob Holding partnering each other. And for me, Pablo Mari could be a decent signing, a decent steal for £8 million, and he can probably just be that left centre-back that we needed throughout this season. So moving into that left-back position, I think there's pretty much one name on the team sheet. That's what I would have said last season. But now we have the likes of Kieran Tierney and Nuno Tavares. And I think, for me, Nuno Tavares is probably the best signing Arsenal have made this summer transfer window. Because I think that left-back position is something that we need to watch out carefully. Because we realise that Kieran Tierney is injury prone, and if Kieran Tierney gets injured, I think we need that left back position. I think that's what cost our season last season. I think when it comes to Nuno Tavares, I think we have a very strong, I think he looks very good on the ball. He looks like he's good both foot. He's very good at holding the ball, and I think I really like a lot of things about Nuno Tavares. Someone that maybe be the right back that we needed all this time, and someone that is very versatile. He can operate in both flanks. But I think for me in this match versus Tottenham, I think it's going to be Kieran Tierney, but I think we have a very good left back cover in the form of Nuno Tavares, because I've loved a lot of things that I've seen from him. So in that left back position, it will be in the form of Kieran Tierney, and Kieran Tierney is someone that we all know what he can do, but we all need to hope that moving into the new season he doesn't get any injuries, and this is going to be a fierce game versus Tottenham Hotspur, and hopefully he doesn't get any injury in this game, in my opinion. But we do have a very good left back cover in the form of Nuno Tavares, and I do want to see a lot of how he plays as well, how he gets up the flank and how he utilises the ball on the left flank as well, because I do really believe that I think that's a very good steal by Mikel Arteta. Maybe when it comes to Ben White deal, it's a good deal as well, but many people are on two different sides. Some people saying it's too expensive, some people saying it's a good deal, and then you got other players such as Lokonga. I think he's a good player. I think he's more or less a Guendouzi alternative, but I do see him someone as that could evolve into a top level player, but we'll have to see, and only time will tell, in my opinion. So moving into that midfield position, I think that right centre mid position is one that I would have definitely said Thomas Partey, but him being injured and his recovery looking very soon as well, because I think he was in the training ground. I think he does do a little bit of light training with the squad, so maybe he could feature in this pre-season friendly match, or he might take a bit longer. I don't really know. Also, do not like to express if they are ready to bring back a player, but he might be out till the rest of August, or he might be featuring in from September. So in that right centre mid position, I think we have only two options. We got Mohamed El Neni, or we got the likes of Samuel Lokonga. But we can also talk about the likes of maybe Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Joe Willock. Joe Willock's future looks unlikely at all. So it looks like Arsenal have agreed a £25 million deal with Newcastle United to try and bring Joe Willock over there. And £25 million for me is reasonable. If we can get Adon Ozil, it will be even more great in my opinion. But I do hope that Arsenal insert some form of a buyback clause or something like that to make sure that we don't lose a top level player and we do get slated for this all the time. But Joe Willock, for me, I do really wish that he has a good game, good chance, good season with Newcastle United, and really turns out to be a standout player. But in terms of other players such as Ainsley Maitland-Niles, he's been talked of always swap deals with certain other clubs. But in that right centre mid position, I think Mikel Arteta is going to go with Mohamed El Neni. but as we're looking at how Mikel Arteta will line up Arsenal. But for me, I'd rather see the likes of Sambi Lokonga, given the opportunity to see how that partnership with Granit Xhaka works. But I think he's going to go with a more experienced player in the form of Mohamed Elneny, and that's something that we'll probably see in this pre-season friendly versus Tottenham. So partnering him will be in the form of two left centre mid positions. I think we got Xhaka, and I think Sambi Lokonga can also operate in that position as well, because I did see some moments where Lokonga did partner Thomas Partey, and he was partnering on the left hand side, and his diagonal balls from that midfield area is something that I do like from his game. But he is someone that I think works hard for the squad. He's someone that could be a very good Guendouzi alternative, someone that is much more disciplined, and there is a lot to see from him as a youngster, and he's someone that maybe even be that player that plays every single game for Arsenal moving into the new season, depending on what Mikel Arteta thinks. But in that left centre mid position, I think Mikel Arteta is going to go with Granit Xhaka, someone that looks very likely to leave initially to Roma, but Arsenal weren't able to agree a fee with Roma, and they have given him a new contract deal until 2025, and the Xhaka deal looks likely to happen because even in the pre-season shoots, we saw a picture. If you've seen the picture of Granit Xhaka sitting down having an interview, that really pretty much baits it out that he's had a contract extension, and this could be revealed anytime soon. And maybe even if Arsenal lose tomorrow versus Tottenham, then they will be revealed to just get the Arsenal fans back onto the Arsenal side. But I'm really disappointed about the way Arsenal have been moving. There have been good signings. We have been linked with players that I want to see at the club, but can we get that deal over the line? So moving into the attack in that right winger position, I think this is the position where I'm just going to be like, that position, nicolas pepe. But we got other players as well. Bukayo Saka, I think he's a decent player. He's back into training. He's back into contention. He could also feature in a game versus Tottenham Hotspur. Big game in my opinion, even though it's pre-season friendly. But when it comes to nicolas pepe, I think he's someone that's starting to improve, starting to impress, and starting to really be a goal threat in my opinion. I think he's started to really get adapted to the Premier League. He's had 2 years of experience, and I think he will be the player that starts for Mikel Arteta, and I think Mikel Arteta will choose nicolas pepe in that right winger position, because I think it would ease Bukayo Saka rather than just make him start straight away. And I think nicolas pepe will be starting in that right winger position. So moving into the centre attacking midfield position in that number 10 role, well, we previously said, okay, maybe Emil Smith-Rowe or Martin Odegaard, but now we got only Emil Smith-Rowe in that number 10 role, and that's why we have a transfer priority. Fabrizio Romano has himself claimed that Arsenal will get a number 10. And I think Arsenal may get the big money signing and get in the likes of James Maddison, or they might play it slyly and get in the likes of Jose Mauer. I think those are two players Arsenal will probably sign. I think if Arsenal are going to play it simple, they'll spend the money, just go for cheaper options and then go with Jose Mauer, or they'll go with James Maddison. But for me, I'd rather see both of them in the squad. I think James Maddison can operate as the number 8, he can operate in different positions as well, and Jose Mauer I think could play more of a partner to the likes of Xhaka or Thomas Partey, because I think Arteta needs to adapt his formation. If we're going to lose games by our poor defence, which you have secured by bringing in Ben White, if you really think about it, if you have Kieran Tierney, Gabriel Magalhaes, Ben White, and we have a good right back, say we had Max Aarons, or say we had Riddle Baku, one of those right backs, I think our back four is very decent. Is young, hungry, and the players are very good at their position. But even if you want to slot in Mari instead of Gabriel Magalhaes, I think the defence is very well. But moving into the midfield, this is where I have problems. We have Mohamed Elneny, which I don't think is better than a squad player. I do love the guy. I think a lot of Arsenal fans love Mohamed Elneny, but we need to step up our quality. If you look at other clubs, you look at Liverpool, they had the likes of Wijnaldum leaving, but they still have very good other centre midfielders. They have Jordan Henderson. They have other players that can play in that position. They have players such as Oxlade-Chamberlain, someone that thrived in an Arsenal shirt, as one of their squad players. So you see the difference, Oxlade-Chamberlain to Mohamed Elneny. You see Chelsea. Chelsea have very good centre midfielders. They got Jorginho, N'Golo Kante, the likes of Kovacic. So they have players as well. And when you compare that to Arsenal, we have Mohamed Elneny and Xhaka as a starting midfield currently in this game. I think it does make me sad as an Arsenal fan. That's why I'm saying that we need to focus on the midfield and attacking positions. Even though the striker role, we have players like aubameyang, Lacazette. I think the midfield is the area which I want to see improvements. I don't care if it's creative midfield. I don't mind if it's a centre midfield, because I think we need 2 midfielders at least. I think even Houssem Aouar and James Maddison together, I think will be a good piece of transfer business. One on the cheap, someone that can be sold much at an expensive price if he doesn't work out at Arsenal. And you got James Maddison, a big name player. He can also be sold at 27, 28 for the premium price, in my opinion. So these 2 transfer deals is something that I want to see Arsenal do. We got the mid striker role. I think Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang will hit on this season. There's a lot of hate regarding him, but if he gets one goal, I think he will score a lot of goals consecutively. We'll have to see. I'm being optimistic, but we have to be pessimistic as well. But and I could see Aubameyang also failing to impress and turning out to be the next Mesut Ozil after that big money contract. So moving into that number 10 role, there's only one player that can play in that position, unless Mikel tries to change it up a little bit like he did previously in last season, where we went with the likes of Saka playing in that number 10 role. But in that number 10 role, it will be Emil Smith-Rowe, someone that signed a new long-term contract, someone that has a new number 10 shirt, and he's the player that will play in that position. So now moving into the left winger role, this is where you have the likes of Saka could play there, the likes of Aubameyang could play there, the likes of Reiss Nelson could play there, Willian. These are players that could play in that position, but I think Mikel has realised that Aubameyang isn't really good up front right now. I think his game, his way he plays, he's not a poacher, he's someone that looks for through balls. But when it got Lacazette, you have someone that links up the play, and I think we're very reliant on our wingers. So I think Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang in that left winger role is something that suits him well. I think he always realises that Kevin Tierney will be overlapping him at all times, so him playing in that position, I think will be a decent option for him. With all Arsenal fans started to criticise Arteta for playing there, playing him up front, but I think he's much better in that left winger role, let's be honest about it. So in that position, in the pre-season friendly, we're going to go with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. And for me, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang needs to impress moving to the new season. We had that one off season, everything went wrong for him. I'm not going to criticise him. We had, as Arsenal fans, we suffered the worst as we could. But now moving to the new season, I want to see changes. I don't want to see a top 4 position. Yeah, even though that will be great, I will be happy. But I want the aspirations to be a top 2, a top 1, or first. That's what I want to see. But this club, this aspiration, what Kroenke is doing, it's really distressing as an Arsenal fan to see what situation we are in. But we can only hope. It's the hope that kills you as an Arsenal fan. But there's a lot of things that we need to change at this club, and I think you guys can resonate with me as an Arsenal fan that things are tough being an Arsenal fan at the moment. But in that left winger role, we got Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and moving up front in that position, we got Alexandre Lacazette, or Folarin Balogun, or Eddie Nketiah. I think Eddie Nketiah impressed throughout the pre-season friendlies. Folarin Balogun is someone that looked a bit decent at certain moments, but he doesn't look like the player that's going to be playing week in, week out. I think he still needs time to adapt. I don't see him as someone that is going to break in straight away like Smith-Rowe and Saka. I don't think he's impressed me that much. But Lacazette is going to be starting in that position. It looked likely like Lacazette was going to leave, but Atletico Madrid are looking at other options like someone from Wolverhampton, and Lacazette is not the first choice option, so Lacazette will be here. I love Lacazette. I think even though many people do not like him, I think he's a decent player. I think he can score crucial goals at crucial games, such as the game versus Tottenham that we have tomorrow. But Lacazette, we have to make do with what we have. For me, if you sell him, we're making some money out of him. If you don't sell him, we're going to keep him until his contract runs out. I think it's a poor bit of business in my opinion. I think we can get a new striker in, or we can adapt our formation, maybe even put nicolas Pepe up front. So Lacazette will be the player that starts in for Arsenal, and this is I think how Mikel will line up Arsenal versus Tottenham. If I was to choose my lineup, I will go with pretty much the same lineup, but instead of Callum Chambers, I'll go with Cedric Soares. I think Cedric Soares has been treated unfairly. I think he should be given the opportunity. We all know what Callum Chambers can do, but he doesn't have the pace to be an out-and-out right back who can keep bombing up the right-hand side to put crosses in, but he has the ability to cross as well. But when it comes to Cedric Soares, I like the way he plays. He has a good link-up play with nicolas Pepe as well, and I think they both have a very good chemistry. And if I was to change other positions, Elneny definitely I'll substitute for Sambi Lokonga. Give the guy an opportunity. If he impresses, he impresses. If he fails, we go back to our usual 2 centre midfielders in the game versus Brentford. And up front, yeah, I do like that lineup in my opinion. I do want to see the likes of Saka play, but more or less just bring him on as a substitute in my opinion. But this is how I will go with. I would rather substitute the likes of Cedric Soares instead of Callum Chambers and Sambi Lokonga instead of Mohamed El Neni. So make sure you guys leave it in the comments. What do you think? How Arsenal should line up versus Tottenham? But this is how I think Mikel Arteta will line up Arsenal versus Tottenham. But other than that, guys, remain blessed. Stay tuned for the next video, and peace.